Hello, this is a revision video on the cell cycle. Welcome back. If you've tried this before and you're retesting yourself, I hope you get them right this time. If this is your first time, try the questions. So pause the video, try the revision questions, and then we'll go through the answers. Okay, so let's begin with the three stages of the cell cycle. They are interphase. This takes up 90% time in terms of time of the cell cycle. That's followed by mitosis, and the final stage is cytokinesis. So let's delve deeper into this. Let's look at the key events of each stage. So let's take a cell, and the animation is going to show you this first stage. So watch carefully. So we've got our cell. Okay, so this is interphase, and hopefully what you saw happening there was this. The cell grows, organelles divide, and DNA replicates. Obviously you can't see the DNA at this point in the cell. It's still as chromatin, and we'll talk about that in the last revision question of this video. But those are the key events of interphase. Let's move on to the next stage. So remember, this is that next stage. So there are 4 stages to this. So watch the cell carefully. So we've got that cell from interphase. Several things happen. Okay, so you should have recognized that this is, and these were the events that were shown. Okay, let's go on to the next phase. So carefully look at the diagram. Have you identified those key things of this next phase, which is, and those key things are, and next. What are those key features of the cell at this stage, which is, and you should have noted these features. And finally for this stage, very clear difference here. So if you look at the cell at this stage, you can see some very obvious differences. This is, and those key features of the cell at this stage are, and so obviously what we've looked at here is mitosis, the 4 stages of mitosis. So let's move on to that final stage. So we have our cell from telophase, and what happens, if you watch the diagram carefully, is this, and that is cytokinesis. Key things here are, and I've put some really important statements or words in bold here that you need to be able to use. 2 daughter cells are produced, which are genetically identical to the parent cell. Okay, so let's move on to question 3. So what's the difference between chromatin, a chromosome, and a chromatid. So let's begin with chromatin. So here we've got a diagram. We've got DNA as a double helix, that thin strand, and it's wrapped around proteins, those barrel-shaped proteins. And so this is chromatin. This is the state that DNA is in during interphase, when the cell is not undergoing mitosis. But during prophase, we talk about chromosomes forming and about this chromatin condensing. What we mean by that is something like this. So you see the difference between that chromatin and what we're showing here is condensed chromatin. So you see it started to compact. And when all of that DNA in its condensed chromatin form compacts together, so there's obviously, I'm showing you what is indicating a small portion of that DNA, but there's obviously a long length of it. When it's all compacted together, it forms a chromosome. So that is that condensed chromatin all compacted together. The key feature here is the centromere in the middle. That's where the spindle fibers attach. And a chromatid is just one of the arms of the chromosome. So a chromosome contains 2 chromatids. Okay, so that is mitosis. Remember, relevant book pages and revision guide pages are given in the description, so you can go to those and find more questions to test yourself on.